Today's topic I want to talk about is reparations. Do I support reparations for my people? Yes. And even if other races listen to this, I really want to direct this to my people. When you look at what we've endured for decades, we deserve to be compensated for that. And again, if you're not familiar with what reparations are and why most of us are in favor of it, I encourage you, look it up, do your own research, and then form your own conclusions about it. This may or may not be controversial. I'm in favor of it, but with conditions. And that's what I want to talk about today. There's four things I want to highlight in terms of reparations and explain why I think they should come with conditions. I'm not trying to be stereotypical or whatever, and I'm not trying to downplay anything, but you don't want to dish out what could be trillions of dollars, somewhere between the billions and the trillions. You don't want to just dish out such large amounts of money and not have a true purpose for it. It's not like a stimulus check and it shouldn't be treated as such. So I say that in order for it to be effective in its usage and its distribution, it should be a purpose behind it. And that's why I say it should be conditioned. You know, the first point that I want to highlight in reference to reparations is financial literacy. Now, in our community, we could use a lot of financial literacy, what to do with your money, how to make wise decisions, how to do important things in terms of being financially responsible. And it goes beyond classes and things like that. We really could use a wide range of financial literacy from kids to teenagers to young adults to adulthood. And if we have that, then we wouldn't have some of the problems that we have today. And that brings me to the next part. I feel it should be conditioned regarding housing. When it comes to housing, we definitely want to be in a position where we can afford housing. We don't have to worry about renting for long periods of time. We want to own our own things and make the necessary adjustments and things like that. So housing is a big one. Number three, education, a big part. An essential part. We should take a good portion of that and apply it to education from elementary school to middle school to high school, even in terms of further education with college. And speaking from someone with a bachelor's degree, we could always use a boost and a good stepping stone, so to speak, towards highlighting the importance of education, but treating it as though it's very important to our community as opposed to bypassing it and making it seem like I can do this without a college degree. If you're talented and you can make it without a college degree, that's fine, but you don't want to downplay that. You don't want to make it seem like it's less essential than anything else. So again, education, it would be important to put some resources there. And last but not least, generational wealth. Now, this is another vital one. Generational wealth for those that have one child or two or more. Let's just say, for example, you have a single mother who has three kids, whether they're by three different men or by two different men or by the same man, it doesn't matter. Let's say this family gets a check for $125,000. Okay. What I would be in favor of is putting that $125,000 in an interest-bearing trust, something akin to a 401k or a retirement plan or something like that, where is not only going to collect interest, but it's going to be there for the children. Also, what I would be in favor of is having the parent sign documentation to not touch this money until the kids get a certain age. I would say maybe 21. And also generational wealth, passing it on to your kids, making sure that when they finish school and whether they go to college or not, they have that. Then we can also have a discussion, what would the kids do with the money once they get it? And that's where the financial literacy part comes in, that you want to get them hip to it at a certain age so that when they're entitled to this money, they already have it in their mind that, okay, this is what I want to put it towards, or this is what I should do with the money. And to be clear, this is not about trying to tell a certain group of people how to spend their money. It's not about that. It's about being responsible. Reparations should not be used for BBLs. It should not be used for a large amount of tennis shoes. It should not be used for plastic surgery. It should not be used for cell phones. It should not be used for games or anything that sees us throwing away money, for the lack of a better way to explain it. Now, cell phones can be excused, but one would think that at a point like this, you would already be set in terms of having a cell phone, okay? But it shouldn't be used for extracurricular activities, because I'm going to tell you something. And I think I want to end with this before I make another point. If slash when we get reparations somewhere down the line, and like I said, I will be in favor of it. When I'm in the House of Representatives, if we finally have some type of legislation that can come up, I would vote for it. And I would recommend my colleagues do so as well as those in the Senate. And if we take that money and be reckless and irresponsible with it, I guarantee you we're not going to see anything on this level ever again. You know, the government will look at this and probably be like, okay, see, this is why we can't give them anything, because look at what they're doing with it. You have to look at it from that lens and look at it from a long-term perspective. For another example, you can give a married family a husband, a wife with just two kids, and they could be entitled to $200,000, right? And let's say all of their money is blown on things that are not helpful. Legislators are going to look at this and be like, okay, the next time that this community, quote unquote, is in need of something, we're going to be real hesitant, because look at what happened when we gave them the reparations, and this is how they choose to utilize the money. So just think about that for a second. As adults, yeah, we're free to do what we want with our funds. But at the same time, when it comes to reparations, something that we've been talking about for decades now, and it's not trying to please other people, but we basically want to show everyone that we can be responsible. Like I said, those 4 points: financial literacy, housing, education, and generational wealth. Have all of those on the table, and we got ourselves reparations, and will benefit us in the long term. Definitely. Overall, do you agree with the 4 points that I made regarding generational wealth, housing, education, and financial literacy? Do you think that the reparations would be better without such conditions? Let me know what you think.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I would like to welcome you all to another edition of Wayne's Perspective, where we operate in discipline, decency, integrity, and respect. The clip you just listened to was from an episode I did on my channel last year. I believe the actual date was March 28th, and it was right around the time when I was just starting my YouTube page. And after listening to that episode for the first time in its entirety, well, let's just say it could have used some creative editing. It's all good, though. I have no problem with some self-critique here and there. I decided to include that clip even in the edited form because my feelings on reparations have not changed, and that's a nice segue into this part of the video. I'm recording this on April 6, 2025, and about a week ago I was watching a video on a channel called Couch Politics. The host does great work, and I recommend you follow his channel, especially if you're into politics. He usually does reaction videos to a variety of CNN clips, mainly focusing on panels hosted by Abby Phillip, along with liberals on one side, conservatives on the other, plus independents, lawyers, political analysts, etc. The video I want to focus on, and I'll put the link in the description box, showed a clip of a recent Trump interview where he briefly hinted at reparations for the criminals he pardoned, the ones who stormed the Capitol on January 6, 2021. You probably haven't heard about this because it fell through the news cracks with everything else that's going on right about now. I don't know if this was Trump trolling in the first degree or what, but the fact that he even mentioned it showed that the idea has been presented to him in some form, and none of us should be surprised if it came directly from him. Whether this happens or not, the black conservatives, the people who protest voted, the people who won't vote unless they get reparations, and of course, the people who decide to stay home and not vote in the 2024 presidential election. I truly wonder what they think about this. Quite frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if this is written off as a joke or if they'll have little to nothing to say about it. The fact remains that the last group of people on this earth who deserves reparations are those J6 criminals. They're not freedom fighters or martyrs or political prisoners. And lastly, they're damn sure not patriots. You know what? Let's say Trump does this, right? What do you think the reaction would be? Do you think there would be protests? Would there be outrage among the no reparations, no vote group? The answer is simple, I think. There would be little to no reaction about this for the most part, and you can expect a number of us, quote unquote, to absolve Trump of any of this and find some way to bring the Democrats into it and blame them, because what else is new, right? Don't be surprised if you were to see some videos on YouTube with the host talking about this, only to spend 5 minutes or less on Trump and spend an hour and a half or 2 hours railing against the Democrats. But I digress. The bottom line is that even if this idea of J6 reparations falls under the proverbial radar, I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. In fact, I wouldn't be angry at all because, like I've said many times before, if you voted for this guy thinking he was the answer, no matter how he acted between 2015 and 2020, if you protest voted because of what was going on in Gaza and or to teach the Democrats a lesson, and of course, if you stayed home and did not exercise your right to vote, these are the results of that. Will you teach the Republicans a lesson in the 2026 midterms as well as the 2028 election? Or will you continue to give all the smoke in the world to the Democrats? Only time will tell. And on that note, I'm done with this one, y'all. If you like what you heard and you're ready to become part of Team Discipline, go ahead and hit that like button and drop some comments if you're feeling the content. And last but not least, hit that subscribe button along with the bell so you're notified when I drop new videos. And until next time, my people, take care of yourselves and remember, the power of the mind is valuable.